Okay, guys, good morning, everyone. So, yesterday I had uploaded the document as a testing document. So, you can navigate to running nodes in this folder. You can navigate to this running nodes folder. There is a testing.zip file is there. Just you can unzip that file once it is downloaded and go to testing folder. So, go to testing folder. After unzipping, you will get a testing folder. So, there it contains testing.html page. That. So just open this testing.html so that you can able to access all these links. Okay, so that's it. Right. And in this testing.zip file, I have uploaded document testcase.xls. So this is the testcase.xls sheet is available. You can open this Excel sheet and you can see all the sheets, whatever information I am telling. Okay. Okay. So yesterday, what we had discussed. So we have discussed about how to report a defect life cycle, and defect is severity 1 and priority high severity and low priority defect, and low severity and high priority defect. So big examples also we had discussed, right? Okay, what else? And we also discussed about priority and severity. Okay. Okay, what are the pending items left on the defect? Let's come back to this one. Okay, there is a defect triage call, I said, right? Defect triage call. What is a defect triage call means I had given in this document. So it's a daily defect call coordinated by our test lead. From 2 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. during coordinated by our test. In this meeting, we will discuss all open defects. Status and comments will be updated for each defect and assigned to corresponding teams to like development team, support team, BA team, or design team. BR design means we are getting clarifications. Like that, we can do the defect follow-ups with the teams until that issue comes for closure. So daily we will follow up until that issue comes for closure. So in this defect triage call meeting, all BA, design, support, development team, client side team people will be joined and followed up on the defects. Okay, so that is defect triage call. And so there is one question, developer is not agreed an issue. You have reported an issue and developer is not agreeing the issue. What could be the reasons? Yesterday I said, what could be the reasons? No. Developer is not agreeing our defect. What could be the reasons? I said yesterday's class. Anyone? Developer is not agreeing. What is the issue? It could be test data issue, invalid test data like closed account and changing, adding secondary address. So invalid test data, or the steps are not able to replicate. Yesterday it's replicated, but today it's not able to replicate. So in such cases, the developer will reject the issue. Or might be you have done incorrect test steps. So the navigation you did something differently and you haven't done proper steps. So in that case also developer will reject the defect. So if developer is not agreeing an issue, according to you it's an issue. According to you it's 100% an issue. But developer is not agreeing an issue. What you will do? So this is the question interviewer is asking in every manual testing interface. Developer is not agreeing. So what is the answer we have to tell? First, I will check that I am referring latest BRD FRD documents and confirm the functionality from myself, because that is the main source. First, I can cross check my BRD and FRD. Whether I am referring to latest FRD BRD document, I can cross check. I will quickly set up a meeting request. This is the main point. Developer is not agreeing. Let's set up a meeting. Let's pull out all the business analysts, designers, development team, and testing team. So in front of the call, I did the steps like this. The developer is not agreeing. Could you please confirm is this valid defect or not? I will ask that issue BA and designer because they are the authors for the BRD documents. Correct? So I have to set up a meeting because I only raise the issue, developer is not agreeing. So I will quickly set up a meeting request with the developer BA and whoever is required, and we can clear the gaps and conclude the summary on the issue resolution. Okay, so this is the main point the interviewer will expect. First point is anyway you cross checked. The main point in this point is this is the one best. This is the point you have to tell in the interview. And post meeting, I will also share the minutes of meeting conclusion. Post meeting, whatever we have discussed and agreed, all those summary points I can highlight in the mail so that everybody will be on the same page. Everybody will be on the same page means everybody will be the agreed for the same point. Okay, so like that we can sort out the issues and the gaps and everything. Like that we can manage the conflicts and conclude the resolutions. And so before setting the meeting, what are the things that you will do before set up the meeting? I will replicate the issue on my system. First, I will replicate because you cross check your BRD documents, and one more time anyway you will check it from your end. And I will also share the test artifacts, screenshots, execution evidences, logs to the developer. Okay. And I will try to replicate that issue on different browser combinations as well. Not only in Edge browser, I can test Chrome browser, Firefox browser, because might be it is not working only in Chrome. So let's check other browsers as well, or mobile devices. And I will check the issue replications on some of my team member system as well. If needed, I can check some of my team member systems as well. So I tried all these ways. And issue is not able, and I quickly said and I am doing the follow-up from the developments from past 2 or 3 days. Issues are not at all progressing by development team. Issue can be highlighted in daily defect trace call and daily dashboard report. So daily dashboard report, whatever defects has been identified by testing team, the test lead will publish it, and the issue will be highlighted in red colors in the status report so that everybody will keep a high attention on those things. Okay, so all these things we will do. We have to tell during the interview. So we will quickly set up the meeting. Everybody will be on the same page, and we will replicate on the different browsers and mobile devices. And I will check it on my system, team members system. Still, developers are not able to progress. Let's highlight it in the defect trace call and dashboards, daily dashboard reports. Okay. So these are the points you have to tell if developer is not agreeing an issue, what answer you have to justify in the interview. 100% interview question. For 3+ and 2+, for 3+ and 4+, this is the default interview question people are asking. Right. Anything else left on defects? Okay, let me go through defects. On defects. No. Yeah, I'm coming. In this row, is there anything related to defect S4 P1 completed? So in this one, any defect density is there? Okay, defect density, defect leakage is there. Okay, I will come to that point. Okay, right. Defect leakage. So defect leakage and defect density, I will tell during metrics time. So that is a separate topic. During that time, I will explain. Bug defect error. Okay, this is important. So I told you what is, so interviewer will ask what is the difference between bug, defect and error. Okay, defect means, so generally what is the definition we have to tell for a defect? So for a defect, what is the definition we have to tell? When there is a mismatch between expected result and actual result, then we are reporting that defect. So the definition we have to tell for a defect is, if there is any mismatch between expected result and actual result, then we will report that issue. Okay, that is the definition for the defect. And the defect, so generally defect means if the issue found in test environment, we can call it as a defect. If the issue found in production environment, means live environment, like ICICIbank.com, Amazon.in. Okay, if you are if you found the issue in production or live environments, we will call those things as bug. So the issue which is identified on higher environments, lower environments means test environment. Okay, the issue which is identified in the test environment, ICICIbank test.com. So initially the code will be tested on the sample URLs, and after that the code will be migrated to production. So if the issue got identified in the test environment, we can call it as a defect. If the issue will be found in the higher environment, we can call it as a bug. Okay, error means if the issue got found in development environment, we can call it as an error. Okay, so that's it. Okay, let's go to the explanation in the documentation. The issue which was missed during testing. The issue which was missed during the testing in test environment. So bug means it was missed. It was missed in test environment. It means something was caught in the higher environment. So the issue which was missed in during testing in test environment and same caught in higher environments like UAT testing or production environment, such issues known as bug. So prior to production, there will be some UAT environment application URL will be there. So they won't go to directly to production. So there is some intermediate other website also we can test it. So like ICICIbank UAT.com. Finally, ICICIbank.com like that. So the issue which is missed in during testing in test environment and same caught in higher environments like UAT or production, such issue known as bug. Defect, the issue which is caught in test environment. The issue which is caught in test environments. It's a mismatch between expected result and actual result. Failed for a particular step in the test case, correct? And that is known as defect. So the issue which is caught in test environment is it's a mismatch between expected and actual. Error means the issue which was caught in during unit testing in development environment. So whatever developers are doing, that testing, it will be called as unit testing. You developers, they won't test all 1,000 functional flows. They will test hardly 5 or 10 test cases with respect to their code. So they won't test all the test cases. So with respect to their code, they will test hardly 10 test cases. So developers, whatever testing they are doing, we can call it as a unit testing. Unit testing will also be called as a code testing. It can also be called as white box testing. Okay, white box testing, code level testing, unit testing, all are same names only. Okay, so these testing, it will be done by developers only on the development environment. So if and something went wrong in coding, it leads to error. Okay, got the point? So what is the difference between bug, defect, error? So in the interviews, they are asking this question. Okay, now, so okay, now let's target the main important question of test methodology. Test methodology. What is the test methodology you are following in your project? So in your resume, I'm having good experience in Agile Scrum methodology. Having very good experience in Agile Scrum methodology and attended various kind of Agile Scrum ceremonies. Ceremonies means meetings. Okay. So I am having very good experience in Agile Scrum methodology and good experience in Agile Scrum ceremonies. So it means you have good experience in attending of Agile meetings. Scrum Agile ceremonies means meetings. So these 2 points you need to highlight in your resume. Otherwise, your resume cannot be shortlisted. Because nowadays, all of the companies, what is the test methodology is following is Agile Scrum methodology. Okay, what is the Agile Scrum methodology? We will discuss. So, and the Agile Scrum methodology, you need to talk about at least 15 to 20 minutes. If you come to automation, the main important questions are, can you please tell me about BDD Cucumber framework approach or hybrid framework approach? So these questions you have to talk at least for 15 to 20 minutes during your interview time. Coming to manual testing, the main important question is Agile Scrum methodology. What is the test methodology you are following in your project? This is very, very important. So you have to talk about at least for 15 to 20 minutes of the explanation. You have to give the explanation for the interview. Okay. So now let's go. What is the test methodology means? We are following Agile Scrum methodology. Okay, let me go to this point. So all the documentation, it was given very detailed. In our current project, we are following Agile methodology, Agile Scrum, Agile methodology. Agile is a continuous iteration of development and testing the software in an incremental approach. What is this line meaning is, we are developing the product in an every month basis. So this month we are developing this one, second month we are developing, third month like this, fourth month like this, fifth month like this. So we are Agile is a continuous development and testing every month. So Agile is a continuous iteration of development and testing the software in an incremental approach. Okay. What is the other alternative for the what are the other methodologies? Waterfall methodology. Opposite to Agile Scrum methodology is waterfall methodology. Which methodology you are following? So people will say either waterfall methodology or people will say Agile Scrum methodology. If it is Agile Scrum methodology, the duration of the project, it could be on monthly basis. And every month, the new features it will go into production. If it is waterfall model, the new features it will go into production based on every 3 months or every 6 months. So the new features it will be going to production after 3 months or 6 months. But nowadays clients, they want to deliver all the new features on every monthly basis. They want to send all the releases as much as possible in the earliest. They want to complete it as much as possible in the early completion they want. Okay, so on every monthly basis they want more releases like that. So that's why every project they are following Agile Scrum methodology. And if the duration is long, in that case only waterfall methodology is recommended. Okay, and the requirements got fixed and there is no changes, in the requirement. Let's go for waterfall methodology. But Agile methodology is suitable whenever the client want to change his requirements. He can change at any time in the first week or second week, and we have to write the test scenarios and test cases accordingly as per the latest design documents. But whereas in waterfall methodology, once the requirements are freezed, there won't be changed anything. It will be fixed only. But in Agile Scrum methodology, so I told you sprint means it's a 2-week span of time. So every month there will be 2 sprints. Okay, sprint means it's a 2-week span of time. We can call it as a one sprint. So in Agile, so see here, project releases will be planned for short-term releases for every 1 month or 2 months max. In our project, we have 2 sprints. 2 sprints means sprint 1 duration is 2 weeks. Sprint 2 duration is 2 weeks. So 2 sprints and 1 release for every month. At the end of the month, we are delivering all the sprint 1 and sprint 2 functionalities at a time. So sprint 1 contains 10 new user stories. Means this is the user story 1, this is the user story 2, this is the user story 3, like that. Sprint 2 contains some more other new 10 user stories about the new functionalities. So all these 20 user stories are going to deliver by this month ending. So in our project, we have 2 sprints. The sprint duration is 2 weeks. So generally in the interviews, people will ask, it could be some projects, it could be 3 weeks as well. Some projects, most of the projects, people will follow 2 weeks span. In the first week, people will work on going through the requirements, preparation of test scenarios and test cases. In the second week, they will do regression testing and progression testing. Okay. So in the first week, we are writing all the test cases. Suppose new features, 100, suppose 10 requirements are there. There could be 100 test cases which will be written in. It has to be complete in the first week. And in the second week, we have to prepare the test evidences for all these 100 and existing 800 test cases, whatever regression suit is there. Okay. So all the 1000-word documents we have to prepare by end of week 2. Okay. So in Agile model, we are getting all the requirements in the form of user stories and acceptance criteria and story points. So what is meant by user story means it contains some paragraph and he will mention the user can select the checkbox secondary address, and user will click on submit button, and user will be prompted a pop-up message, secondary address will it will be delivered to secondary address. So each and every bullet point it will be highlighted for that paragraph. What is the summary the client is expecting? So each and every bullet point it will be called as acceptance criteria. Okay, and summary of information it will be given in the paragraph. So this we can call it as an user story. User story means about the new requirement. He will elaborate in a big paragraph, and the summary of the paragraph he will mention each and every bullet point what he is expecting. Okay, so that is called acceptance criteria. So we will get all the requirements in the form of user story and acceptance criteria. So you will get that user stories document in a HTML or in an Excel sheet. Okay, and for every user story, there will be some number like 2237, 22338, 2239, something like that. Okay. Later, we will also get BRD and FRD documents from BA and designs. Okay. So the first 5 points are very important. So we are following Agile Scrum. It's a continuous iteration of development and testing the software in an incremental approach. Short-term releases for every 1 month or 2 months. In our project, we have 2 sprints for and 1 release for every month. The sprint duration we followed 2 weeks. And we are getting all the requirements in the form of user stories and acceptance criteria. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are very important. And coming to the 6th one, okay, this is also important. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These 7 points you have to tell in the interviews. So we will start our testing from the requirement phase itself, because their frequent requirement design changes will be there in the Scrum methodology. So we have to update our test cases accordingly, and we have to give test scenarios walkthroughs to BA and design team. The final version of test scenarios and test cases will be uploaded into SharePoint, some Google Drive. Okay, and all test cases will be also uploaded in HP ALM or Jira tools. Initially, we will write all the test cases in Excel, and we will upload it everything in the either ALM or Jira tools. And okay, let's come back. In Agile model, what are the ceremonies means? What are the meetings means? There are 4 meetings are there. One is sprint planning, sprint review, sprint retrospective meeting, and daily Scrum call meeting. Okay, so if the project is following Agile Scrum methodology, these 4 meetings will be there in that project. So all the team members has to attend these meetings. Mandatorily, they have to attend these meetings. What is daily Scrum meeting? Okay, so daily Scrum meeting means, see, the main roles in Agile process is product owner, Scrum master, and team. Team means we are our test lead and team members. We can call it as a team. Development lead and developers, it is a team. Okay, and Scrum master is nothing but one of the main anchor. So the Scrum master, he could be project manager or development lead or the test lead. So there is a Scrum master role. So for that monthly release, he is the main responsible person. He is like a director in the movie, how he is directing. So the job of the director is to deliver that product, to deliver that movie. Similarly, to deliver this sprint 1 and sprint 2 new features to go into production, the main responsible person is Scrum master. He has to drive, he has to coordinate all the teams, development team, testing team. So he is the main head for that particular release. Okay, so for this release, development lead will act as a Scrum master, and coming next month release, the test lead will take the Scrum master role, and 3rd month release, the project manager can take the role of Scrum master release. So like that, it might be changed, or sometimes the Scrum master will be fixed for every month release, for every monthly release. Okay, so Scrum master means he is like a director. He is the main point coordinating all these activities. Okay, so the main roles in Agile process is Scrum master, team, and product owner. Means in Agile process, the business analyst terminology, it will be called as a product owner. Okay, so business analyst means product owner means he is collecting all the product information from the client. Each and every user story information he is collecting and he is preparing paragraph and acceptance criteria. So all these list of user stories, all this product information is gathering by product owner, nothing but business analyst. Okay. Now let's come back to daily Scrum call meeting. So if your project is following Agile Scrum methodology, the moment when you go to office by 10 o'clock, so there will be a meeting, Scrum meeting by 10:30. So daily it is a recurrence meeting. Okay. So daily you have to be there at, you have to gather at one place by 10:30. The Scrum Master will come at that place, and developers and development team and testers, test lead and business analysts and designers, all the team they will be gathered at one place in a round circle in the conference room or in a open forum as well. And the Scrum Master will take the updates from every team member, development lead, developer, tester, test lead. He will collect inputs. What questions he might ask? What you are doing today? This is the question they will ask. Okay. So you have to be prepare on daily stand-up call. So daily Scrum call means you have to prepare for that daily stand-up call. What you are doing for today. I'm going through the requirement document and I'm having some list of queries. I have listed out all there in the query logger. I need to reach out to the BA, and so I'm working on that user story. So that is the update you had. And another team member, yeah, I'm writing the test scenarios for these two user stories. Yeah, I am doing the execution of these two test cases, two user stories. So whatever activities that you are doing on that particular day, you have to explain. And immediately the Scrum Master, do you have any issues? No, I don't have any issues. There are some clarifications are pending. I need to reach out to BA, product business analyst, and I need to get clarify on that. So like that. And if there are some defects are pending and the issues are not at all progressing by the developers, so you can highlight. So defect 1102 is a high S1 defect. It is not picking and not fixed from last 2 days. It's very important. Otherwise, our testing time will be lost. So it has to be taken very seriously. So we inform to Scrum Master. Wherever work got stuck and not able to progress, the main point of contact all the times is Scrum Master, not your test lead. Okay. So the Scrum Master is the main responsible person. So you need to ask everything, anything. If you got stuck, if you don't know anything, you can ask in that Scrum call meeting. So this is a daily stand-up call conducted by the Scrum Master to discuss on the project updates. Day-to-day testing activities will be discussed and need to be informed to Scrum Master by everyone. Okay. And coming to next meeting is sprint planning meeting. So sprint planning meeting, it will be happened in the week 1. Okay. In the sprint 1, I told 2 weeks, week 1 and week 2. So in the week 1, a sprint planning meeting, it will be happened. A sprint begins with the team importing of the release backlog into sprint backlog. So what does this mean? Means product backlog. Okay, one second. So product backlog means, product backlog means there is 100 user stories are there. Collection of all the user stories, we can call it as a product backlog items. So the product backlog items are prepared by the product owner. Means total 100 user stories needs to be targeted after completion of 6 months. Out of these 100 user stories in this month, let's target these 10 and these 10. So by end of this month, 20 user stories we are targeting. So those things we can call it as a release backlog. So for release 1, what are the user stories targeted? For release 2, what are the user stories targeted? For release 3, what are the user stories are targeted? So release backlog means pulling the items, user stories from product backlog to release backlogs. So out of this 100, let's pull what are the important for release 1. And release 1, 20 got delivered and 80 are there. So for release 2, what are the user stories needs to be pulled? That is called release backlog items. And from release backlog items, A sprint, so there are in the release one, there are 20 user stories are there. Out of those 20 user stories in sprint one, let's target these 10. Let's target the remaining 10 into sprint two. So that activity we are calling as a sprint planning meeting. Out of these 20 user stories, which needs to be targeted in these 2 weeks. Okay, and out of this second week, which needs to be targeted. So a sprint begins with the team importing the stories from the release backlogs into the sprint backlog. Okay, so sprint backlog items means which of the user stories you are identifying. Got it? And it is hosted by Scrum Master. This meeting is hosted by Scrum Master. And the testers estimate efforts to test various user stories in the sprint backlog items. So the testers, they have to estimate the stories, estimate the various stories in the sprint backlog items. Suppose I identified these 10 user stories and I need to give my confirmation. Yeah, these 10 user stories, we can complete it within these 2 weeks. So they have to take confirmation from the test leader, because if they will pull all complex 10 user stories, we cannot complete it. Let's pull 5 complex and 5 simple, so that I can able to complete within these 2 weeks. So the testers will do estimates. Okay, so can be able to target all these 5 complex, 5 simple. So that kind of confirmation, the test lead, he will coordinate among the team. So the testers will estimate the effort to test, estimate efforts to test the various user stories in the sprint backlog items. Okay, so 3 points you have. We will pull from release backlogs to sprint backlog, hosted by the Scrum Master, and the testers will estimate the effort to test the various user stories in the sprint backlog items. So we will do the estimates. So that is about sprint planning. So whenever week one got planned, the sprint planning meeting, it will coordinate by the Scrum Master. Let's pull from these 20 user stories which needs to be pulled for sprint one. Okay, daily Scrum week and sprint review meeting. Sprint review meeting. See here, sprint review meeting means whatever activities that you are doing. You have prepared correlate tracker, you had prepared test scenarios, you had prepared test cases, you had prepared RTM, requirement traceability matrix. All these activities, it will be reviewed by your test lead and by your team members. Those we can call it as a internal reviews. And these work also, it will be monitored and reviewed by external reviews, nothing but business analysts, designers and clients. Okay, so whatever activities that you are doing as part of the sprint, those activities, it will be reviewed internal and external reviews. So that is nothing but sprint review. So in that user stories, what are the, you have covered all the test scenarios or test cases and the detailed steps, everything will be reviewed. Even RTM also, it will be reviewed. Okay, so that is known as sprint review meetings. So whatever work that you are doing, internal reviews and external reviews, it will be done as part of sprint review. And very, very important, sprint retrospective meeting. Sprint retrospective meeting after completion of every sprint release. So sprint one means 10 user stories. After completion of every sprint release, the Scrum Master will conduct sprint retrospective meeting. He will conduct a retrospective meeting to discuss on the challenges faced, problems faced, what we achieved, what we could do better. So the best lessons will be implemented for the next sprint releases. So it is a kind of feedback, release feedback. He's collecting what problems we faced and what we can do better. So each and every section, he will prepare some list of bullet points. So in that retrospective meeting, BA team will be joined, designers will be joined, developers will join, testers will join, test lead, all the people will be joined. So he will collect all the information. What are the problems faced? He will ask this question. So he will put a open forum. What are the problems we faced? Like that he will ask. So the testers will tell, yeah, sir, we faced these problems. Our environments are keep on getting slow and we could not able to complete our testing. So if we have one more alternative test environment, we can speed up our testing. So like that, the testers are telling their problems. Okay, and application performance is very, very slow. So like that, and developers, they will tell their problems. Okay, So whenever problems are addressed, what we can do better? So that question also he will ask. So what we can do according to you? He can collect all the information, feedback. So the release feedback. So the improvements it will be taken for the next releases, next sprint releases. So it's a kind of release feedback. For after completion of every sprint, the Scrum Master coordinates these meetings, retrospective meetings, and for the next sprint releases, all this discussion will be documented and will be shared to everyone. So that how we can progress in future releases. So things, if the same problem come, what is the alternative? Like that. Might be they can use some alternative test environment also. So ICICI Bank test1.com, ICICI Bank test2.com. If this environment is slow, let's test the application in test2.com, like that. So these are the ceremonies people will attend. Product backlog means it is a collection of all the user stories. Sprint backlog means identifying the user stories from release backlogs to sprint backlogs. Okay, now let's come back to the next point. Okay, we understood about sprint backlog means it's a list of user stories, tasks identify the Scrum team to be completed in a sprint. Okay, so what are the user stories and tasks to be completed in a sprint? During sprint planning meeting, the team selects some number of product backlog items, usually in the form of user stories, and identify the tasks necessary to complete each user story. So what is sprint backlog means? You have to tell from the current user stories summary information we have to tell. And product backlog means it's a list of prioritized deliverables that should be implemented as part of project or product development. Okay, so collection of all the user stories within these 6 months, whatever user stories that you are targeting, we can call it as a product backlog. So the product owner owns the product backlog items. Product owner means nothing but business analyst. He is the main responsible person for the product backlogs. He is the one who can prioritize based on customer feedback and business value. So let's target these 10 user stories in sprint one. So he is the main person. He will, based on the customer feedback and business value, he will prioritize which needs to be delivered earliest. The product owner prepares and maintains the product backlog items because he is only taking care. It is prioritized by the product owner, and anyone can add to with approval from the product owner. Suppose there are 3 business analysts out there. One of the guy will act as a product owner. So whenever the other business analyst also working closely with the clients, if they want to add those user stories to this product backlog, he need to take the permission. Then they can add into this product backlog items. Grooming means it is a next sprint discussion. Okay, in the sprint one it is running. So the Scrum Master, he coordinates the meeting with the product master, with the product owner and the development lead and test lead. So during in the first week of the time, what are the user stories? What are the challenges for sprint 2? So what are the user stories that can be targeted for sprint 2? So that kind of next sprint release activities, planning the next sprint activities is called grooming. Okay, so grooming is very important. If grooming is not there, after completion of sprint 1, we don't have ready-made work. So the Scrum Master, he has to take care about grooming. Means what are the items that needs to be delivered? Is all the user stories information is clear before starting. So all these things. So it is a meeting Scrum team, which product backlog items are discussed on the next sprint planning is prepared. So grooming is critical in product management because it means keeping the backlog up to date and getting the backlog items ready for upcoming sprints. Okay, so right.
So and the grooming, we can address the gap effects. Like
grooming means suppose sprint 1 you identify 10 user stories. Remaining 10 are, do we need to pick some other user stories? Grooming means suppose 100 user stories needs to be delivered in this 6 months. Okay, sprint means 2 weeks. So first week we delivered 10 user stories. Second week, what are the user stories we have to deliver? So during sprint 1, week 1 time, during that time only, okay, let's target this user story. Let's target this user story for sprint 2. That planning activities, that we can call it as a grooming. Got it? Defects, all those things are not comes under grooming. So release backlog means we understood the product owner coordinates the scrum master to decide which stories should be targeted for a release. Stories in the release backlogs are targeted to completed in a release. So block list, one of the important thing is block. See here, this is a product backlog, collection of user stories, 100 user stories, and release 1, release 2, release 3, and release n. So as part of release 1, it contains sprint 1 and sprint 2. Sprint 1 means it is 2 week span of time. Sprint 2 means 2 week span. Sprint backlogs means 10 user stories, and sprint 2 contains other 10 user stories. So during sprint 1, we are planning sprint planning activity, and daily scrum call meeting is going on daily. And after completion of every sprint, we are conducting retrospective meeting. So release feedback, the scrum master is coordinating. So all these activities, it is taken care by the scrum master, and he is coordinating all these activities. So for release 1 and release 2, release 3, so like that. So this release 1 duration is, it could be 1 month. Okay. So like that, all these product backlog items will be delivered in release 1, release 2, release 3, release 4, like that. And what is a block list means? It is a list of blocks and unmade decisions owned by Scrum Master and updated daily. So some of the user stories information is not clear to the testers or developers. Let's keep these things on hold. Let's get more information from the clients, and after that we can target for the development and testing. So even Scrum developers and testers are not having full information. So those are called as a blocks. Okay. So a list of blocks and unmade decisions. So we are not clear what we have to do. So let's get all the information. So we are redirecting to the product owner. So the Scrum Master, he will keep what are the block list items. Let's clear all these block list items. So that is a separate activity only for Scrum Master. Wherever team is having lagging and team is having issues, all those list of items he will take care, and he will do the follow-ups with the other people. Okay. So block list is a separate task for Scrum Master. So this is the complete information. And one more important point is here, burn down charts. Burn down charts. What is mean by burn down charts? Okay. So daily dashboard report. So how many test cases got passed, how many test cases failed, and how much work left, how much work left, and how much work pending. So suppose there are 1000 test cases, 800 regression and 100 new test cases. So total 900 test cases. We completed 100 and 900 total 900. So 800 test case execution pending. Means 80% work is pending, 20% of the work completed. So this information, it will be represented in some pie diagrams or some graphical picture diagrams. Those diagrams we can call it as a burn down charts. So the burn down charts represents how much work completed and how much work left and how much time left. All this information, it can be represented in graphical pictorial representations. So the burn down charts information, it will be prepared by our test lead. Okay, not by team member. So this information, these flow diagrams, these graphs and everything, it will be prepared by test lead itself. So whenever they are going the information about the metrics, how many passed, how many failed, just by going through the graph, they can understand. Just like cricket board, how the graph is generating. In the cricket board, this guy has bowled this much information, graphs are coming, right? Similarly, a graphs will be prepared by the test lead. So those we can call it as a burn down charts. Okay. So this is a big info, sir. This much information, can I able to tell it in 15 minutes? Okay. So in the interview, you have to tell all this information in less than 15 minutes or less than in 10 minutes. You have to talk. The main important things, key points you have to talk about these ceremonies. This is the main point you have to talk. Okay. So I will. So what is the time now? 10:47. So how the interview in the interview, I will tell you the answer how I am explaining. In the same way, you also need to explain, because this is a full information is available. But to explain all these things, ideally it might take 20 minutes, but I can finish it less than 5 minutes. How you need to tell, I will tell. Okay. So now the time is 10:48. Okay, let me tell you. Yeah, in our project, we are following Agile Scrum methodology. And Agile, it's a continuous iteration of development and testing the software in an incremental approach. And we have 2 sprints, and every monthly we are having monthly releases. And we will get all the requirements in the form of user stories and acceptance criteria. Later, we will also get FSD documents, BRD, FRD documents. And as per the test case, as per the documents, we will write our test scenarios and test cases. There will be frequent requirement and design changes will be there. We will incorporate those changes, and we will give the test scenarios walkthrough, and the final version of test scenarios, it will be uploaded into SharePoint. And I attended various kind of Agile Scrum ceremonies like sprint planning, daily Scrum call meeting, and sprint review meeting, and as a retrospective meeting. I attended all these ceremonies. Coming to daily Scrum call meeting, it's a daily stand-up call conducted by the Scrum Master. So we have to give the day-to-day progress updates. What are the activities that we are working? And sprint review meeting, sprint planning meeting, it is nothing but importing of the user stories from the release backlogs to sprint backlog. And it is also hosted by the Scrum Master. So we have to estimate various user stories efforts to test those user stories. During sprint planning, these activities will be planned. And coming to sprint review, whatever activities that we are performing, internal, external reviews, it will be reviewed by the team and BA and design team. And coming to retrospective meeting, so it is a release feedback session. So in this retrospective meeting, once after completion of every sprint release, the Scrum Master is conducting this retrospective meeting. All the teams will be participated, and he will collect all the information. What are the problems faced? What are the challenges faced? What we do better and what we can do better. So all these things, information, it can be collected by the team, and this document, it can be shared to everyone, so that the best lessons will be implemented for the next sprint releases. So like that, I have attended all these kind of Agile Scrum ceremonies. Yeah, like that, we had followed Agile Scrum process in our project. So like that, you have to wind up the Agile methodology. So you no need to talk about product backlog, sprint backlog, grooming, release backlog, all these things. And if you want to tell the main roles in the Agile process, product owner, Scrum Master, and team. Okay, and the main artifacts in the Agile process, product backlog, sprint backlog, and bound down charts. Yeah, like that, we had followed Agile process in our project. Okay, clear everyone? So that is the, so this is the main important question for this for today's class. So ensure, if you guys are, so I told you for interview preparation and job assistance program, one of the mandatory interview question is, what is the test methodology you are following in the manual testing? And the default interview questions for manual testing is defect life cycle and Agile Scrum methodology. Okay, so if you want to access this document, download that testing.zip file and click on this testing.html and click on verify the answers. And if you want to go through this test case Excel document, test case.xls sheet is available. Just click on sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, and everything. Got it? Okay, I will share this document in WhatsApp group as well. Okay, but better you can download it from the SharePoint itself. Okay. Anybody is having any doubt in the Agile Scrum methodology? Understood, right? So this is the process they will follow. What is Scrum call means in one line statement? What is Scrum call? It is a daily stand-up call. Okay, in the stand-up call, who will join? BA team, design team, developers, testers, all the people will join. So in the Scrum call meeting, what Scrum Master, he will collect the information. What are the activities that we are doing on that particular day? Okay, those things it can be discussed. Okay, can anybody tell me what is defect life cycle before closing session for today? Defect life cycle. What are the status? First status. When we identify the defect, what is the first status? The initially the defect status is in new status. Assigned a new bug and చెప్తామా So the issue will be assigned for the developer, then the defect status will be in assigned or open status. After that, the defect will be, if the defect is fixed by the developer, then the status is changed to fixed. Fixed to next state ఏంది pending retest. ఏం చెప్పాలి? When the code is migrated from development environment to test environment, the defect status changed to pending retest. Next pending retest తర్వాత ఏముంది? Closed and ఏం చెప్పాలి ఇప్పుడు? If the defect is working fine, then we can change the defect status to closed, and we will attach the test evidence document as well. If the defect is not working, we can change the defect status to failed retest, and again the defect will be assigned back to the developer until that issue got fixed and closed. Okay, right. Inka flow diagram lo inka rendu unnai. Reject. Eppudu reject chestadu developer? If there is any, if you are unable to replicate the steps or incorrect test data, the developer might reject the defect. So from new to rejected also it will go. And sometimes the defect will go to default as well. When? So it's a valid defect and not fixing in the current release. Might be it is targeted for future release. The defect status, it can be changed to default or postpone. Explanation is important. Okay na? Explanation in pratidi document lo rasundi. Okay na? Prepare these things. Otherwise you cannot get the words during the interview time. Okay na? Sorry. సో ఇంటర్వ్యూ టైం మీరు ఇంటర్వ్యూ డిసైడ్ చేసే రెండే రెండు క్వశ్చన్లు మాన్యువల్ టెస్టింగ్ లో ఏంటంటే డిఫెక్ట్ లైఫ్ సైకిల్ ఒకటి, అజైల్ స్క్రమ్ మెథడాలజీ. ఈ రెండు అన్నమాట. దీస్ టూ ఆర్ వెరీ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. అండ్ టుమారో ఇంపార్టెంట్ థింగ్ ఈస్ బ్లాక్ బాక్స్ టెస్టింగ్ టెక్నిక్స్. బ్లాక్ బాక్స్ టెస్టింగ్ టెక్నిక్స్ మనం డిస్కస్ చేస్తాం. హలో, ఒక్క నిమిషం క్లాస్ అయిపోతుంది. నేను ఒక్క నిమిషంలో కాల్ చేస్తాను. ఓకేనా? ఇస్ ఎవ్రీవన్ క్లియర్? ఓకే, సో దట్స్ ఇట్ గైస్. Everyone can download this testing document and go through this test case as well. Okay, tomorrow onwards, daily onwards, we can also revise the interview questions, how you are preparing as well. Okay, so,
Sir, what about the videos that is it uploaded?
videos also uploaded.
No, it's not showing.
Who is talking? May I know the person?
Tapeshwar, sir.
Tapeshwar, did you got access SharePoint drive?
Yes, sir. SharePoint drive actually, but till the Cucumber lab, it's there like till date 19.
No. Cucumber all labs got uploaded. Automation.
No. Till like for that only it's there. Like after that, it's not there any videos.
No. Manual testing drive is separately. Videos and documents are uploading. You can take the help. You can reach out to Yamini and she will give separate access for that.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Thank you, everyone.